Hello everyone, my name is Harsh and today I and my team are representing our MRP project which is Ontario Fire Hydrant API creation. In the next slide I'll explain all the agendas that we are going through such as project overview or semester activities like what we have accomplished until now, what are the issues and challenges that we have faced and how we resolved it, the what how much we have accomplished and whether the project would completed on time or it might be delayed. We will also give an estimated cost related to this project, and in the last in the at last we will gonna say some recommendation to our client on the both side as well, technical side as well as management side, as well as how communications will happen and how team meetings would go in our next phase. So on the first project overview, so basically our client's name is Nerivon Corporation. Okay, Faraz, can you next slide? Okay, so our client's name is Nerivon Corporation. It is a small company located in Barrie, helping different small and medium level enterprises to through their web application as well as website making. One thing that I really like about Nerivon is they provide their best services at the lowest prices, as well as their beliefs, which said that let's just say that they believe on personal relationship rather than revenue and business, and they help their clients to use the technology at its best level. Now, in the next slide, I'll explain about the project, which is Ontario Fire Hydrant API creation. So basically, we need to create an API that will that basically locate any particular fire hydrant in across the Ontario province. And this project has divided into two major phases. One is create a database to store all the locations of fire hydrant, and the second is to create an API in Python language. Here, clients specifically recommend us to use a Python language. So we will gonna use Python language for our entire project as well for the backend side. For the front end side, we maybe use JavaScript and HTML or maybe some other things, right? In the next slide, so basically I and my team, Divya and Faraz, have shared responsibility where I am hers as a team leader. Divya is a tech developer who look after all the technical stuff. Faraz is an analyst who look after all the analysis or business analysis kind of stuff, such as estimated cost or whenever we want to analyze, like which is the best tool that we should use or etc etc. Right. In the next slide, I'll explain about all the technical tasks of like basic tasks that what we have done until now, and then Divya will go through entire actual technical stuff like programming and how we come up with a particular code and how we did that. So, in the technical task, for us next. Yeah. So in the technical task, as I mentioned before, the our first phase is to create a database. So for that, we uh, we downloaded all the database from the open source and converted those different data into one usable format, and then we started a data all this data to dump into MySQL server. We chose MySQL Server based on Farah's recommendation, as it is one of the best tool we can use. Then parallelly, we also started a programming. We also started a programming on We also started a programming on Python language to create an API where we successfully able to locate five nearest location of a particular user input, as well as we also created an HTML page just to showcase our client how uh, an an actual input would look like in the end. On the management side, we have done SharePoint. We have updated our SharePoint. We have updated our weekly status as well as our MOMs. Now, Divya will explain from here how actual technical stuff is happened. Over to you, Divya.
So the given screenshot is a view of how or the structure of the database. So our main table is fire hydrant location, and it has few main columns such as longitude and latitude, which is a coordinate of a location, and then we have a column to store the address, that's the location description column. Then we are maintaining a lookup to hold the city value. I have not shown the lookup table here, but here city ID 1 is Toronto. Okay, coming to the Python notebook. So in this code, in this backend logic, we are using Python as a language, and within Python, we are using pandas and numpys as our main, libraries to write the major code. Along with that, okay, I'll move. So the second cell you see is it's a logic to connect with the database. My database name is Ontario Fire Hydrants, Ontario underscore fire hydrants. And then with the cursor that we are getting while doing connections, we are making a query, and with the fetch all options, we will get all the results. Now I want to use a data frame to further process the records. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the result of a query in a data frame, and I'm assigning the column headers. And the cell number 3 is first 5 rows of from the data frame. Now coming towards the cell number 4, it is using it is using library for calculating the distance on the surface of Earth. The formula or the theory which helps to find the distance between 2 points on the Earth is derived by Haversian distance formula, and that's how, and that's why we have this formula also implemented in as a Python library. So I have used that library to calculate the distance between 2 points, and I'm making sure that since we are finding the nearest hydrants, the unit that I'm capturing in is meters. So coming towards the cell number 5, it's a logic to you know find the nearest 5 hydrants, and I'm finding the nearest by using the method pandas method called n nearest, and my value of n is 5 here. Sixth point is, okay, so sixth point is basically we are making a function to the call to the function name find nearest, and then I'm giving my location as a given latitude and longitude value, and we pass it to the function which fetches the nearest 5 hydrants. And as you can see in the output, I have also shown the distances between them. And the cell number 7, okay, so the cell number 7 is again, I have described the function, and it's calculating the distance. Cell number 8 is our use of gmplot to plot the given point and the nearest 5 location. And I have so in order to use a gmplot, we have used the Google API, and we have we have explicitly drawn the map to an HTML file. So the one in the white is our given location, and the surrounding red 5 points are our nearest hydrants. Can we go back to the PPT? Skip all the code, yeah. So the issue that we have, I would not say an issue, but it's a drawback of gmplot, that with the use of gmplot we cannot create an interactive plot. And with further research we came to know that in order to take an input from a user, we'll have to add a JavaScript logic on the web page. So here JavaScript, we will So with this JavaScript, we are basically going to take an input from the end user, which is going to be an address. We will convert that address to the coordinates using the Google Maps API, within which we have an endpoint called geocode, and then we'll take the further steps. Passing on to Faraz.
So hello, good evening. Now we will see the management challenges. So firstly, team and client would not be able to connect, but now it is resolved. And we have a recurring meetings scheduled for Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. And secondly, SharePoint is not be able to fetch data into Excel sheet automatically. So we will resolve this. Now coming to the next slide. Now what the current status of project is that it is on track, and it consists of three parts, like weekly timeline, project status, and estimated cost. So coming to the next slide, for weekly timeline, we have divided into 7 phases. Like week 1, we were finding the data across the websites, and following week 2, we start dumping the data into the SQL server. And week 3rd, we resolved the error of data dumping and created sample of how we can dump the data. And week 4, programming in Python to get user input and searching the same input in the database. Coming to the week 5, we resolved the temporary error in coding and successfully managed to plot locations in the Google Map using gmplot library. Now coming to the week 6, we created sample HTML page for clients so that they would get idea how the output would looks like, as Divya showed you. And finally, this week 7 and beyond, we will learn JavaScript and create API using Python. Coming to the next slide, like as I said earlier in the previous slide, our project status is that it is on track. And this is how I calculated the project estimated cost. So firstly, as you can see, individual name, the role which Harsh already told you. Now average employee cost per hour is Harsh of 38, mine is 40, and Divya's is 45. My time in hours that we spent on this project are like Harsh 18, for us 10.5, and Divya is 14.5. And through this, we calculated total cost, as you can see in the Excel sheet. Now software charges like PM tool and all this are $40 per month, and for server cost it costs around $110. So this is the project estimated cost, $1,906. Now coming to from here, the next phase of project is that technical milestones and management task. So technical milestones are like we will learn JavaScript as we told you, and Python's Flask framework, embed JS logic with HTML page, convert user input to location to coordinates, and map Python code and web logic to make it as a complete web application. And management task is to weekly status report and BOM on weekly basis. Thank you.